Hello everyone, it's Jamie from anysoftwareyouwant.com, and in this video I'm going to show you the top 8 free ways to boost your website's traffic. And as we go through it, I'll try and explain all the jargon to make it as beginner friendly as possible. So first off, why should you listen to me? Well, I've been doing SEO for over 15 years. I'm an executive VIP on the world's largest internet marketing forum, and I've owned hundreds of websites from tiny little blogs to large affiliate websites to massive programmatically generated websites, so I have a very good understanding of this area. So let's begin. Number 1, on-page SEO. So when we say on-page SEO, we mean basically what your pages consist of on your website, and that includes your content and your HTML. That's the code that makes up the web page. So first, keyword research. So what we mean by this is a keyword is something that people search for on Google, and a lot of people just write content without actually doing any keyword research. So they don't look at what people are searching for, they just make content and often doesn't really align with what people are searching for. So for example, you might own a blog and you might write about your new holiday you had with your kids and how great it was and everything, which is, easy and fun for you to write about, but no one's searching for that. So if you want to generate traffic, perhaps take a different angle. Write about the particular place that you went, or write about particular gear that you took with you that they might want to buy if they're searching for the best sort of gear in that niche or something. So whenever you publish some content on your website, make sure it's something that people are actually searching for. And also part of keyword research is knowing if you're actually going to rank for the keywords you're trying to rank for. So for example, if you try and rank for something like car insurance, you're not going to appear even in the top 100 results probably, which means you're going to get 0 traffic for that post you've done about car insurance. Whereas if you blog about car insurance for over 70s in some local area, then that's what we call a long tail keyword, and there's going to be far less competition for that search term, for that keyword, so you're more likely to generate traffic for that keyword. Next, make sure all your titles and descriptions are there and at the correct length. If they're too long, Google will cut them off. If they're too short, Google can sometimes make up titles that it thinks are more descriptive of the page, and you don't want Google to be making up your titles. You want to keep control of that, so make sure your titles, your descriptions, and your H1 tags, which are your headers on your page, are all present and the correct length. Because your title and your description, apart from the content itself, is the easiest way for Google to understand what your page is about. Next, internal links. So internal linking is basically where you link from one of your pages to another one of your pages. And when you do that, it helps Google understand what those other pages are about. And you can also sort of almost manipulate your own rankings a little bit, because if you have a page that makes you more money or gets you more sign-ups for your demo or whatever your website's for, you can make that page rank higher by linking to it more often from your other pages, because that's a signal to Google that that page is more important. And what will happen is more of your internal link juice, more of the authority from all your other pages will power that page up, because you've got so many links to it. That's showing Google that it's an important page. And you can also use anchor text, which are the text in the link, to describe to Google what that page is about. So try not to use anchor text that are like click here or more info. If you're linking to another page on your website that's about pet insurance, then make sure you have pet insurance in the anchor text, because that describes to Google that the page you're linking to is about pet insurance. Next, here's a nice little trick you can do. So if you go into Google Search Console, which you should have set up with your website, it will show you all of the search queries, all of the keywords that your website is ranking for. Now, if you're ranking for a keyword such as, let's just make one up, we'll say top 10 pet insurance or something like that, if you're ranking for that keyword and you're in, I don't know, position 80 or something, but that keyword isn't in your content, then copy that keyword out of Google Search Console and add it, work it into your content, and you can copy loads of these things that your page is ranking for, that you would want to rank for, but it isn't in your content. You can copy them into your content, and once those keywords are actually in your content, you'll rank higher for them. So you can go from, ranking position 80 for a keyword to the top 10 once you get that keyword, copy it into your page and work it into your content. So that's a really nice, easy little trick for ranking for more keywords. And sometimes they're keywords that you wouldn't have even thought people are searching for. And then finally we have little tweaks like increasing your site speed and using an SSL certificate for a site-wide small boost to your rankings. And if you're on a budget, SSL certs, you can get them for free using a WordPress plugin, if you're using WordPress, which you probably are, and you can use Let's Encrypt. That will give you a free SSL cert. So if you do some speed tweaks, there's loads of WordPress plugins that will put some caching on your website that will increase the speed, and then that, in addition to the SSL certs, you should get a small site-wide increase in your rankings. Next, off-page SEO. So off-page SEO is it's basically backlinks, really. It's basically all the things you can do to make your website get more traffic that aren't actually on your website. So it's mostly just backlinks. People often sort of blog and create content and they forget about building backlinks, and backlinks are probably, apart from the content itself, they're probably the strongest signal to Google about the quality of your content and where you should be ranked in the search results. So you really want to focus on building some good backlinks. So there's loads of backlinks you can build naturally. Maybe build isn't the right word, maybe earn. There's testimonial backlinks where you give a testimonial or a review of someone's product and they link back to you in return, to show who is the person giving this testimonial. You can develop relationships with other bloggers and then do a guest post on their website. There's loads of ways you can get quality backlinks, and they'll really boost your rankings. In the beginning, I would try and acquire backlinks naturally. I would not buy them until you shouldn't buy backlinks until you know the sort of backlinks that you don't want. So if you don't know about outbound link counts and PBNs and link farms and things like that, don't buy backlinks, because you'll probably get scammed. They'll probably take your money, tell you it's a great backlink you've got, when really it's just the PBN backlink they've charged you $100 for or something, or it's on a website that has so many outbound links to so many random websites that Google can clearly detect it's a link farm, and it'll devalue that backlink, and you've paid $100 or even $1,000 for a backlink that's completely worthless. So yeah, my advice, don't buy backlinks until you know the sort of backlinks that you don't want. Number 3, click-through rate optimization. So what is click-through rate? So click-through rate is the amount of people that search for something on Google, your result comes up, your website comes up, and then they click through from Google to your website. So if 1% of people click on your result, that's a 1% click-through rate. Now you want that to be as high as possible for obvious reasons. The higher it is, the more traffic you're going to get. Now a lot of people write their web page titles and description. They do it for Google, in the sense that they put in lots of keywords they want to rank for, and that's great. But the problem with that is it's not very enticing to the user. So when they search for something and your result comes up number 3, they might skip over it and go to number 4 But if you had a really good title, your result might come up number 3, and they might see number 1 and 2 and think, oh, actually, that number 3 result, that's really appealing to me. It's got a date that makes it relevant to now. It's got a nice clickbaity title. That's what you want. It's a super easy way to get more traffic very quickly. So, as I said, the title is the main part, but also optimize the descriptions. You can use emojis in your title, which makes you stand out in the search results. That obviously works better for some niches than others. If the search query is date relevant, you can put 2020, best blah 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 for 2025. If it's something that changes quickly, like tech or like software or something. It can be clickbaity, like the 2 reasons why you're failing at something. They're like, oh, what are those reasons? I want to click that. And often people do things like, what I'm doing here, top 8 reasons for blah blah blah. Those kind of things are quite appealing to click on. And also the cool thing about this is that after you've optimized a page's title, you can go into Google Search Console and add it into the priority crawling queue. So it will basically, the Google crawler will come along, re-index that page, and your new click-through rate optimized title and description will appear very quickly in the search results. So you can go through your web pages one by one, optimizing them, then re-indexing them, and you can get a massive spike in traffic in like a day or so. So that's, yeah, definitely worth doing. And if you're using Google Analytics, you can keep track of how many visitors a page was getting when it had X title versus Y title, and then you can tune it over time. And something else you should do as well, if you're in the type of niche where people share your website on social media, then make sure you've got your pages all configured so they look correct when they're shared on Facebook. Because I see this all the time. People make these awesome blog posts, and then other people think, wow, this is amazing, I'm going to share this to all my friends on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and they share it, and it looks absolutely terrible when it appears in people's feeds, because they haven't checked all their meta tags for social information. So that's things like your OG tags, so you can set your open graph tags, so you can set what image is displayed when it's shared on Facebook. You can have a specific title for when it's shared on Facebook rather than the one that you've put in, because you might want a better title for the page when it's viewed on Facebook versus when it's viewed on Google. So you can do loads of tuning like that, and that'll generate you more social traffic. Because if it looks horrible when it's shared, if the title's cut off, if Facebook selected the wrong image from the page to show when it's shared, then no one's going to click it, because people are paranoid about clicking things these days that don't look quite right in case it's some sort of spam or malicious link or something. So you want it to look as good as possible. Number 4, build an email list. There's a saying in internet marketing that money is in the list, and that's because if you collect people's emails and their consent to email them, by the way, then whenever you want free traffic, you can just email your email list. So if you're in a blog, every time you post something new, just email it out to your subscribers. And that's a really easy way of getting free traffic. You're emailing people that want to hear from you because they signed up to your list. Now, you should definitely experiment with the best ways to get people to opt into your email list. Now, it will vary from niche to niche, but generally it's worth putting the time in to create an incentive for people to join your email list. So if you just have sort of the standard thing that I see on a lot of WordPress sites, where there's a tiny little box somewhere on the screen that says subscribe here, sure, you'll get a few people subscribe, but not many. Whereas if you have a pop-up that's displayed when they land on the page, or a pop-up that's displayed when they're reading the content, that's far more likely to get someone to sign up, because you can, when it pops up, you can give them reasons for them to sign up. Other things you can try: giving away a free ebook if they subscribe to your list, some sort of short course maybe to train them in some way or show them how to do something. You can give full versions of your content to only your email subscribers. You can have premium content for people that subscribe. And another good thing to do is, in addition to having a pop-up at some point to get people to opt into your email list, you can also work in a subscribe call to action into your content. So, for every time you do a blog post, somewhere in it you can mention your email list and why they should join it. Because often people are so sort of used to things popping up that they just instantly look for the X to close it without reading what your offer is, if they opt into your email list. But if you work it into the content, then that can often work really well. Number 5, content syndication. So that's simply where you share your content on other websites, normally big platforms with lots of traffic. So if you post 2 very similar or even identical articles, one on Reddit, one on your website, the Reddit one's going to rank higher, just because Reddit is very, very trusted by Google, especially since they penned a deal for Google to get all of Reddit's content to train its AI models. So Reddit is particularly hot at the moment in the SERPs. But there's tons and tons of places where you can submit your content. You can post things on LinkedIn, Medium, Substack, Quora, so many places, and then you link back to the original article at the bottom of the content you've posted on these syndication platforms. And that typically looks like something, like this article was created by blah blah blah, who's an expert in blah 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 area, and if you'd like to read more of their content, click here to visit their website. Now, I would say some people just copy and paste the same article, but I wouldn't do that. I would change it slightly for 2 reasons. Firstly, the more you change it, the more likely it is not going to be considered duplicate content by Google, and also you can adjust the content so that it mentions your website more. So while they're reading it on Reddit, you can make several mentions to your website, so they're more likely to click through from that article on Reddit or LinkedIn or whatever through to your website. Number 6, pruning old pages with 0 traffic. So sometimes, especially if you didn't do keyword research in the early stages of your website, sometimes you'll have web pages that just don't bring any traffic, or you might have web pages that bring traffic, but they don't have the people landing on your page don't have the desired action. They don't sign up for your email list, they don't buy anything, they don't click any affiliate links, they don't click any ads. There might just be some pages that are just doing nothing. So if you have those pages that are of no use to you, or they're not getting any traffic, delete them. Now, I know that sounds crazy. Why would I delete my content? So, and you can Google this and see case studies on it. It does work. So you want to delete that useless content, because every time you create a new page on your website, that's another page that your internal link juice has to be shared to. So if you have 10 pages and then you delete 5, then you're doubling the link juice on those 5 pages. So what will happen is those 5 pages will rank higher. So get rid of any pages that aren't doing anything for your website, because it's a waste of link juice. And what you'll find is if you've got a lot of pages that are useless, if you get rid of them, you'll find that your other pages will probably increase in rankings because they now have more internal link juice flowing to them. Number 7, improve existing content. So you can always tune your existing content more. So one of the things you can do is add more LSI keywords. So these are keywords that are related to the keyword you're trying to rank for. And I have a tool on my website that is currently free. If you paste in your article, it will call Google's own AI and it will tell you all the LSIs that you're missing. And I actually have over 50 tools, all free currently, to help you grow your business. I've got everything from SEO checkers, things to see how your competitors are monetizing their website, what affiliate programs are they using, etc. So add more LSIs to your content. And as I said before, another trick, go into Google Search Console, get the keywords that you're ranking for, on it lower down in the SERPs that aren't in your content, move them into your content, and then you'll rank higher for those long tail keywords. Number 8, encourage engagement with your content. So when your users land, don't just let them read your content and then disappear, okay? Encourage them to share it on social media. Encourage, as we said before, get them to opt into your email list. And one really good way you can get someone's email is from a comment system. So a lot of comment systems on blogs, they'll allow you to comment on a certain article, but they'll ask for your email address, and you can pitch that as in, like, comment, leave your email, and I will respond. If someone responds to your comment, we'll email you if someone replies to your comment. And often people are more open to that, because that doesn't feel like some sort of spammy email list where they're going to get people emailing them all the time trying to sell them something. So people are often more open to that because they want to know if someone has replied to their comment. And also blog comments bring in additional traffic because people are adding keywords in their content into your website that you might not have thought of, and often people will spend a lot of time writing a comment, and that will increase the dwell time on the page. That's the amount of time someone spends on a page, and a lot of people think that's a ranking signal as well. If someone spends a long time on a page, they're probably enjoying the page, and it probably matches what they were searching for. It's probably helpful. And that concludes the video. As I said, please check out my website, anysoftwareyouwant.com. All the software is currently free at the moment. I've got over 50 tools to help people grow their businesses. I've got thousands of happy users. Come and check it out while it's free. That's it, guys. As always, thank you for watching.